And looks like are we are live. There we go. Give everybody a second to kind of come in a little bit here. Kids are sneaking. Hello, how are you tonight? So you'll see that I am single at the momento. Husband is coming back from Lowe's. Hello, Spags. Sorry, we missed you yesterday. I'm sure we'll get into that. Um, so I am kind of single at the moment. Andrew should be coming in. He we have been working super hard, especially him, on getting the new greenhouse up and going. We put a water heater into it and moved furnace and stuff over yesterday. So we moved out of the old greenhouse and got the new one up and going. All the plants and everything. Looks like he's getting ready to pull in. Anyways, and so he got the water hooked up to. We put in a propane water heater and got all the water hooked up to it. Put our pressure here for our water is crazy stupid. It's like 200 psi. I mean, it might not be that high, but it is really, really high. We have to really be careful on our hoses and whatnot that we need to put pressure reducers on them so that we don't blow hoses because it doesn't matter what we use, we always blow a hose. So he went through those steps of what we normally do and had the water turned on and the heater going and um he like was like why does it sound like there's water going? I put a pressure reducer on it and um oh hunkiness something blew and so he had to get the water turned off pretty quickly. Between he and David we're working on it together and I'm sure he'll tell the rest of his funny story here shortly. He just walked in. Funny. It wasn't funny. I thought it was pretty funny, and that is like some massive time. So he left at 6 o'clock to go 15 minutes into town, go by Lowe's, and then 15 minutes back.
I didn't want to
That was like, I appreciate. That's like Lisa on the foot pedal time. That's like me heavy foot time.
Quick steps.
Quick steps. Well, you knew what you were looking for too, so that helps.
Kind of, but yeah.
Kind of. So what was it that blew? Was it? It was the water that blew because you said that it melted.
What I made the mistake of was I hooked up the furnace, which is a gas furnace, and I hooked up the water heater to a T, running out the same exhaust pipe. Well, what I made the mistake was, and I wasn't thinking when I did it, was the furnace itself has actually got a power fan, and it power vents out. The hot water heater does not, so it just heat rises and goes out. Well, it's blowing back by and not allowing everything else. So I have to exhaust them out 2 different pipes because of the power vent. So, and I just didn't think about that when I did it. So I actually blew the PEX that sat right next to the hot water heater vent.
So. Okay.
Quick, easy fix, but
so that makes more sense. Yeah. So our original thought of doing 2 exhausts probably would have been a lot better.
Well, yeah,
obviously, because that's what you needed. Oh, well,
I was trying to save $1, but
and work.
Yeah, kind of.
So, but anyways, I just got started into that, and I was just telling them where you were and all that. So, but told Spags that we missed them yesterday. I was going to get into that. We we're headed down over to see you guys, and if it's not in the calendar and it's not accurately in the calendar, then things get missed and whatever. And so, the meetup you guys were having yesterday for a meal, we thought started at 2, and that's just what we thought. So we left. We were leaving in adequate time to be there at 2, and when I looked up to see, you know, all the specific details on it, I'm like, "Oh, honkiness." They started at noon, and they're eating at 2.
Well, we were already. I was running up behind already because I was working on the high
Yeah,
tunnel and trying to get everything moved or the greenhouse, and you were moving plants, and I was trying to get the heat on and or the
yeah,
double the actual heat, not the electric heat. So
yeah,
that was already putting us behind. So
yes.
things happen for a reason. So
It does, and it was a nice day to finish everything up too. I mean, we were able to get the rest of it for the most part buttoned up yesterday with besides the water and well, besides the water,
yeah,
really.
yeah, which that'll be finished up tonight. So
Yeah.
not
So
a
the
big deal.
next steps over there is we need to build some tables. Andrew needs to build some tables. I'll help, but I'm a good
So
gopher.
sound good.
uh,
Completely understand, Spags. He messaged us back. So yeah, we'll. I don't know that I've seen that, but I'll take a look at that and we'll get everything to you. So
yes, yes, we will.
one way or the
Sorry, it's just been one of those couple of weeks. I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been a couple of weeks. Just here, there, everywhere, just trying to get things done. We haven't put very many videos out. I don't think.
No, I've taken a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff to be edited
Yeah,
and content to put together and all that. I mean, we've with the greenhouse itself, we haven't put anything out since we got it got the concrete
yeah,
poured.
yeah,
And since then, I have been taking video to show the progress of it. One, because it'd be cool for you guys to see our progress on it, but two, it also helps if we have any questions later in life that we can go back on our video and say where'd we do with the water line, where'd we put it, or just how in general that we put it up. Um, we always like to reference back to that kind of stuff.
yeah.
It
I'll do a short little video tonight when I get back out there and show the mistake that was made on that whole thing. Because I mean, it's easy to do. I mean, if you, like I said, I just wasn't paying attention with that whole the power venting and all that stuff. So,
I
but
wouldn't have known it until it blew up, and I'm like, "Wah!"
steam rolling everywhere. Yeah, it made a lot of noise. But
I would have been freaking out.
so,
Nope.
what
But
else you got?
the rest of the week, though, I mean, I think it's been pretty productive. We've been able to get stuff planted in the ground.
Got a lot of stuff in the ground. Hopefully, things are popping the next day or two. So,
Yeah, well, we got it'd be interesting with all the so in previous years we have gone off of our soil tests for recommendations of fertilizers, but it seems like this year we're putting on a little bit more micro than what we have in the past. The potassium and the
oh yeah, I mean, definitely. I got micros tested this year and had some pretty good recommendations on that. So that again, it's getting down to the dirty details of some of that stuff, and um, I'm really kind of interested why our pH went up so much on some of those. But it's not a we're at 7.2 on our tunnels, so I'm not scared about that. But I am going to add some elemental sulfur before the tomatoes go in to bring that back down. But
yeah.
so ebb and flow on that. But yeah, I mean, putting some of the micros in there is playing a big thing. I'll tell you, phosphorus is probably the biggest thing. It's hardest to get in there. I've got some of that MSR, so that's going to be kind of an interesting play. But because we're not doing any chemical fertilizers, where the phosphorus is essentially bone meal and rock phosphate. Well, bone meal is proven tough to get to. Um, I can order it, and I do need to order it, but it's just one of those things I've got to essentially get it from the East Coast. So
Oh, I
is
didn't
where
know that.
yeah, essentially. Greenfields does carry some, but it is pretty darn expensive. So we'll see. That MSR is pretty volatile stuff, and it's just a micronized soft phosphate, rock phosphate. So we'll see with that. But
It's water soluble, right?
that is yeah, because it's
Oh, yeah, because
micronized.
we're gonna put that
Yeah,
in fertigation.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but we've got our new mix of salad greens that you put in that we direct seeded, or you direct seeded, right?
Yep. Yep.
So we'll see how that turns out. That's supposed to be a really good mix of greens.
My phone's deciding to be very loud.
And did you use the pinpoint seeder for that or the Jang?
The pinpoint, which that's all I mean, I wouldn't use a single row jang because I can't get enough rows in there. So,
Yeah.
well, with 40-inch beds, I could, but we're not going to do 40-inch beds with those very often. As soon as tomatoes are ready, then they'll go in those 40-inch beds,
Yeah.
and it'll be 30-inch beds, and I can't use that jang for enough. I won't get enough rows to do the single row jang. So that's why I will be looking to buy the 5-row jang because I can do a 10-row bed at the point. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I can do 8 rows of pinpoint, but the pinpoint soil conditions have got to be on point
Yeah, if
for
there's
that
any
pinpoint.
debris in them.
Yeah, it just I think doesn't work very well for that.
No, it does not.
Sandy soil it works really well, but
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, spinach. We got this year we're doing quite a bit of fabric. And the reason for that is labor. That's a big one is to keep the labor down. As far as like weeding and maintenancing and all that kind of stuff. Um,
plus it's impossible to find labor.
it is impossible to find labor. Um, and then also to keep the product cleaner. So we are not handling it as much. So basically you can harvest it and pack it for the most part. You know, there's a process to processing and packing it, but um, to reduce the washing of it and all that kind of stuff that degrades the product a lot
Yeah.
faster. That fabric is going to help us kind of narrow that down a little bit and make that better
Well,
maintenance
it's
wise.
going to give it a possibility. I mean, anything inside we don't necessarily have to wash. We sometimes do, but anything outside we're still going to have to wash. So
Well, even
it
on the
just eliminates the dirtiness of it
yeah,
and it makes it a lot easier to clean.
yeah,
So
that too, yeah. So yes, so we got and we're using a dibbler tool, which I don't know if we've shown that out there yet or not.
I don't know.
It's a little piece that you put on the end of the drill, and it looks like a
It's a cone shape made of
yeah,
aluminum aircraft aluminum um, from a company called Two Bad Cats is what
yes,
it's from. But put that on a drill and zip down the holes and just make a cone shape where you drop the plants into. So that really does help.
yeah. So today I had actually timed it because I was doing it by myself. So 100-foot row, a 90-foot row with five, a 4x6 spacing, 5 rows.
Which would be there'd be 2 holes and that's 180. So that'd be 980, just shy of 1,000 holes
Yeah,
is what that is. Then
and it took me 20 minutes
I
to
believe
zip
that's right.
it, which
Yeah, that'd be right.
yeah, some of the holes. Um, Number one is just getting the muscle movement of you know
Yeah,
chip chip chip
and
chip
not
chip
going
chip
too deep, but not going too shallow either.
right, and then putting your dibble right in the middle of your burnt out fabric.
Yeah.
That takes a little bit of coordination and your finger not going numb because you're holding it for 20 minutes.
Piece of string or hair tie or something, rubber band.
Sure. Now he tells me.
So I don't know.
Twist tie. I can get a twist tie.
That'd be fun too.
I was just alternating hands, like I do, you know.
Yep.
But
Okay.
anyways, so then after that, you just, drop the plant down in there. So
And then water.
and then water. Yeah. But
Pack rats here. So,
hello.
Middle Tennessee.
Ooh. You guys have been getting some weather. Nasty weather. Wasn't it last
They
week?
are the new. Well, yeah, they've been last week. They got all that ice and all that stuff down there. So that's the new tornado alley down in those areas. So
You can keep it.
they're still warmer than we are right now, probably. So,
Well, that's why they're having tornadoes.
yeah.
But let's see. Oh, um, no, yes. Well, I was gonna say I'm gonna squirrel on you and go to cows real fast. That Miss Bell, our bottle cat that I talk about a lot. Anyways, that is 2 years old. Had her calf this week, and he a big boy, but he is super cute and super sweet, just like his mama. And at first, I thought that she was going to be a new mom and not really take care of him. But she has come around and figured out how to mom it. So I think we're happy.
Seems to be. So, and
Yeah.
yeah, pack rat. We are looking at some snow Wednesday, Thursday time frame. We've been in the 50s and 60 today, and then we're going to jump right back up in the 50s and 60s again. So, we've got hundreds of thousands of snow and blue geese, snows and blues, flying around here. So, it's
By the
not
thousands.
it's not the surest signs of spring because the robins aren't back yet, but for sure that is they're about. I think they're about 2 weeks ahead of schedule on the snows and blues, but not even the thousands. I say hundreds of thousands because it's.
Hundreds of thousands.
But um, yeah, we're seeing those nice temperatures, but we are expecting some snow. I think up in Iowa, just north of us, and we were supposed to get that system that's going up there, and we're just going to get the very touching of it. So they're talking about 2 to 3 inches of snow here, maybe an inch, but they're talking inches and inches to feet. And your dad's over in Colorado, I think, right now. They're calling for like 3 foot of snow over there. So,
That's gross.
but they can have that too.
Yeah, they can.
So,
Yeah. Although I thought I haven't seen it yet, but I did thought that I heard a robin the other day
no, you didn't.
or a mockingbird. Do mockingbirds migrate?
I think mockingbirds don't migrate. If they do, they don't go very far. We keep. I don't remember if mockingbirds do or not.
The finches aren't back yet either. I call them finches.
Yeah,
I don't know if
finches
they're
aren't going to be
finches.
back for a little while. They don't come around for a while.
It is pretty early though. I mean, it
Yeah,
seems
we're
like
in mid February.
yeah.
We're not even mid February yet. We're just right there. So
Hypocrites got bit by a mosquito today.
good night. You can keep the mosquitoes too.
Keep the mosquitoes.
I don't mind the cool nights. I don't mind those 40
Or
degree
even the
nights.
crisp mornings. I mean, those are nice
I don't
too.
mind that, but that does keep those mosquitoes down. So
Although not too long, not
well,
too
those are in.
long ago, I did find a tick on the dogs.
Oh
We
yeah,
had we
yeah.
had the 30-degree weather or 30 -30, and the dog had a stinking tick on it.
Hmm.
And it was
Interesting.
alive.
Packrat said their Walmart parking lot was full of seagulls the other day. He's a couple of states from the sea, I must say. We get seagulls here,
We do.
and they come up the Mississippi, I think. I'm assuming, but they get into our crop fields, and you'll especially see them when guys are doing anhydrous and going right
Yeah,
back behind the anhydrous, and I'm sure they're kicking up.
worms and whatnot.
Yeah, well, they're killing a bunch of bacteria, and those birds are going after all that stuff. So,
The other thing that we see a lot of are swans.
yeah,
A lot of swans during migration too, which I've never seen before. So I'm originally from St. Louis area, and migration down there is not as massive as it is in North Missouri.
As far as the
It just birds
oh
migrating. Like, I don't remember when we were living there that I mean, even during growing up, we had Canadian geese, like,
oh yeah,
crazy.
crazy. Well, the
Like,
urban area over
but,
there. Yeah.
we never had snows and blues, never had swans.
Oh yeah, we've got all kinds of swans. But in years past, we haven't had the swans. The swans have really started to pick up in the
Yeah.
last probably 2 years. So
I wonder if that's because 'cause they're getting colder up north?
Starla's over here from freesteading, so she's over in
Oh.
tag and bees all the time. I know that. So
Oh,
and
okay.
thank you, Spags, for posting that on freesteading for us.
Yeah, thank you.
So
So, yeah, I don't know if it's because we're getting colder up north, they're migrating further south?
no, I don't think so. I think they're colder. No, I think we're getting warmer.
Well, why would the swans be coming down? Where are they usually
Just
hanging out
migrate.
at?
I have no idea. Migration path. I have no idea.
Maybe they grabbed the jet stream and it's just kinda
Thank you,
going
Starla.
with
So,
it.
so
What?
yeah, Starla just subscribed too. So
Oh,
the
thank
pack
you.
rat said we had a hard cracking freeze that broke every PVC pipe in the trailer, and around Christmas time, Vic takes off dogs and mule almost got as big as grape. Yeah, yeah, we did have one pipe freeze this year when it was -30 here.
Mhm.
It was at -30 with the wind chill, I guess, but it was -15 or something like that, -20 actual temperature. But that was only slightly froze, and it took about 5 minutes on the outside to do that.
Yeah,
Some of
we
our
got lucky.
yeah, and a lot of our water pipes around here kind of interesting because back in the day, I was talking to one of the companies. We had a leak in one of the fields off one of the mains, um, and I knew that it had to be one of the mains, but this has been about a year or two ago, and they came in and they dug 6 feet down to find that water pipe. But they said the guys that originally that who laid the mains through here were from I think Wisconsin, and
North.
they were so used to burying it so deep. We typically do 3 foot around here, and that's more than enough.
Yeah.
But they were putting them 6 feet in the ground, and these guys cuss them every time they have to dig up a water line, I guess. But so,
Oh, man.
but so, yeah, frozen pipes are no fun, no matter where it comes down to. So.
No. Oh, she's been down with pneumonia.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah, it's no fun.
That's no fun. There is a lot of sickness going around, a lot of sinus and respiratory stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the vid
I
here
would
and there.
assume that's what it is.
I don't know.
It's just a
Everything's the same thing now, as far as I'm concerned.
well, that's true. You got a cold or unless you're puking, then it's not the flu. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Nope.
what did you tell him that you had your thing that you did last week?
No, I haven't
Oh,
gotten that
yeah,
far yet.
okay. But what? Why you look at me?
Huh? Yeah. You waiting for me to tell him?
Well,
Oh.
I'm not gonna tell him.
So something we've been wanting to do in a goal of ours for a couple of years is to bring one of us back home onto the farm to take care of everything. We've been building up to that point for 5 years.
Technically, only 2 years.
Yeah, I guess technically only 2 years. Although in that 2 years or before that 2 years, it was so Andrew. Everybody knows that Andrew runs mail. Well, you might not. Anyways, Andrew runs mail during the day.
Yeah.
Um, and it was a part-time job, still is a part-time job, but turned into a full-time job 6 days a week. But so that was like 2 years ago. And before that, he was, basically a fill-in, um, and had a lot of time here on the farm and was able to manage things, animals, gardens, the whole 9 yards of what we were able to do and what we still do. That moved into a full-time job, and we both been working full-time for the past 2 years and still trying to get everything done on the farm, along with running Tabletop and our vegetable business, and meat business. And, um, we basically are at the point where it's either somebody needs to come home and, do what he was doing or downscale. I mean, really is where we
or
were,
find something else to
or
do.
find something else to do.
Yeah.
Um, so we took the plunge, and
Not we. You did.
it's we,
Uh,
but I've been elected to come home.
well, and it's really the thing that's really changed that is another market opened up for us.
Yes, yes,
So we are going to be going to Kansas City
yes,
for a market on Saturdays. And
yes,
Lisa's always done the markets on Saturdays because I work 6 days a week. So, but the goal is there again is for me,
yes.
and I'm putting it by the end of the year to be actually back on the farm.
All right, we'll see.
So that's up to you.
No,
No, I think it's a very easily. I think we can very easily do that. Again, it's a matter of just streaming the incomes of what we're doing. So um, we could probably do it today if we really wanted to buckle down and do stuff, but we have chosen to overburden ourselves with the work
yeah,
so that we could invest into the farm, invest into the business, and invest everything. And that's where everything has been going. So now we are willing to maybe not invest so much, but actually start doing investing in other ways, essentially. So,
yes, yeah.
but
That's a good way of putting it. We put a lot of infrastructure up. We've done, yeah, we've done a lot of investing back into the farm.
yeah,
Um, and so now it's time to move forward with all that.
yep.
Yeah. So,
So
anyways, that's the big news. So, this is my last week at my current full time W-2 job,
yep.
and I was home today. It was very nice. It's a plant, play with cows. No, I didn't really play with cows. I did my normal thing. But, anyways, um, yeah. So, well, reading through here. Ooh, I think we're behind. We've
You are
been
a little bit,
okay.
but they've been kind of talking
Oh,
amongst
good,
themselves, which is
good, good.
so. But
Uh,
Starla's been traveling. Sounds like they've been over there by or Jules and Jasper, and believe believe that's down in. I could be wrong. I think that's Texas, but I'm not exactly sure. But
mm, well, but she says she's been traveling on her birthday.
she asked if we are already starting seeds.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So Starla,
So,
we've been well as of now. We don't ever stop starting seeds. We did this year. We did take a break just because we run out of room, but we just moved out of the 20 by 20 greenhouse, and that was completely packed full to the point where we couldn't do anything. And now we're actually a week behind.
yeah,
And I just finished up, quote unquote, finished up a 60 by 20 greenhouse to upgrade on that. So that is, it looks empty, but there's, I don't know, 10, 20,000 plants in there right now ready to go in the ground. We start seeds weekly. We do microgreens. I mean, it's everything. We're actually getting pretty close to um, here in the next 15 days, probably start seeding outside for some of our pastures and cover crops and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as the market gardening stuff goes, we won't stop from here on. 365 days a year, we will be 52 weeks out of the year, I should say. We will be seeding something. Um, in the grounds direct sow or in the greenhouses. So um, that's going to be the go to now. That's the other thing with this new market in Kansas City. It is a year round market, so that is going to allow us to consistently sell all winter long as well. So we've always had stuff in the high tunnels, but this year will be definitely more have to be more consistent um, on seeding all the time and having everything grow all the time. So
Yeah, and the one thing that we didn't do all the way correctly this year was the timing on getting things planted before winter hit.
yeah, yeah,
So
and
that's gonna be
that will be the challenge. I mean, there's
yeah.
always the challenge of because what happens is it's not so much the heat that keeps things growing; it's the daylight hours. So, 10-hour daylight hours is kind of the metric of once you go below 10 hours a day, you stop growing. And for us here in North Missouri, it is November 15th, 17th, 15th. I always say November 15th because it's the easiest to remember. So we have to know where our plants are, and we need at least I say 90% maturity on most of everything that we're going to hold for the wintertime. Now that doesn't mean we stop seeding. That just means that for us to maintain some of those plants, they need to be 90% maturity by November 15th. So like your lettuces and stuff, spinaches n- need to be there, but they'll regrow. But they're just so slow to regrow at that point. Um,
Well, so like a good example, like what we actually did get planted going into winter. I think it was like the last part of October. We got a bed of lettuce put in, and I was really kind of hoping that we would have fresh lettuce for Thanksgiving, and then that didn't happen. Things didn't grow. And I'm like, oh, I can really have it for Christmas, and thinking, yeah, yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good deal. And Christmas came around, and they were still like this big, and so it has been just the past 2 weeks,
Three, yeah,
three,
2-3 weeks, but
2 maybe 3 weeks that we have just started harvesting off of that stuff that we planted at the end of October. So we definitely adjusted for that time frame this year.
yeah.
The biggest thing is getting the tomatoes out of the garden at the right time. It's always one of those things of, oh, just one more week, um, to keep them in the ground and keep them growing. But this year we've also changed that and went to determinants instead of indeterminants. So maybe that'll push us to
Well,
have things out
you're
at the
going to
right
have
time.
4 to 6 to 8 weeks, and tomatoes are out. I mean, that's
True.
from
Yeah.
from that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's one thing. Starting seeds. I mean, tomatoes will go in here in 15, 20 days. Tomatoes will be ready to go in. So inside of our tunnels. So that's some of the things. But Packrat said tabletop's having a farm means having a full time job without ever leaving the property, doesn't it? From one full time job to another. And
Yeah.
it is. I mean, I look at farming. So a discussion we've had in the past is homesteading, farmsteading, and farm. And a farm is a business. A homestead is really providing for yourself off your farm, which a farm can do, doesn't necessarily have to. And we live a homesteading lifestyle, but we farm on that. And I would put the farmsteading as a homestead that sells some of its stuff as a farmstead. And it's one of those things. We're because it's a farm. If you look at the old family farm, I would agree with that. But the way we are building the farm is to have employees and people that can do that kind of thing where we can leave or they can leave. And much like a business, the goal is to work an 8 hour day, Monday through Friday on the farm. And obviously, with animals and stuff, somebody has to deal with that on Saturday and Sunday, but it becomes a lot more flexible. And there's
Right.
things that we can do to not necessarily do that. The way we do farm, yes, somebody has to deal with the cows every every day because we move them every day, especially in growing season. So there is some truth to that. We're going to go way behind here, but um, Hypocrite said, to put his tunnel up across the property line on the land. I was going to ask you about that, hypocrites. If you had any possible start with that, you got the rebar laid out, getting in a bit, plastic on the ground around the border. Awesome.
That seems
So
to be the hardest part. Once you get that done, everything else goes up pretty
yeah,
quickly.
and that's a farmer's friend that he's got. So
Oh, so I did see. I don't know who if you guys are interested in needing new ones or more, but Farmers Friend is having a deal right now, and I'm surprised you didn't like
I
it.
haven't. Well, I don't get on their website all the
No,
time.
it was an email that came in
Oh, was it?
this afternoon. So they're doing a buy one tunnel, one cat tunnel, and you get 10% off the second
Oh lordy.
one. Oh, like oh no.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the market for more tunnels because again, it's just consistency for growing for us. Um, but yeah, Starla asked, "Do you teach microgreen stuff on here? I have a room going to be dedicated to that, but I just getting ready to start."
Yeah.
We do. We have one video out there, and I had said last week, I think, and I just have not got around to it. Now that we've got the greenhouse up, we are going to do micro Mondays.
Oh, I
And
need to plant microgreens tonight, so thank you for that.
and so we're going to do we have a set of micros that we do on Mondays and Wednesdays, but I'm just going to release a video I think every Monday on micros. And when I get through the I don't know 8 that we do right now consistently, um, I want to do some. If I can't experiment too much in the gardens, I'm going to experiment with microgreens. So we're going to do some oddball stuff and everything from how to seed them. I'm going to get the research done on what they do, the health benefits of that stuff, um, to how we put them in the germ chamber, how you don't have to put them in the germ chamber, what the treatment of that is, how long you keep them in dark, how long you keep them stacked. So yes, short answer is yes, we do teach microgreen stuff. I'm going to teach more. The thing with the inside microgreens, not in a greenhouse or anything like that, is just air circulation is a huge thing.
Mhm.
Um,
And lights.
and lights and how you water and
Yeah.
different and we've grown microgreens inside in the wintertime in um well just inside. We've done it about every way, but that is something we are definitely going to be doing more of. Hypocrite says they're going to dry the rebar in the next couple of days, start putting the
Mhm.
hooks up in walls. Farmer's friend, one door from the restore. Absolutely, that
One door
is
from the restore.
yeah. So he's just going to put a door. He's going to put the plastic up
Oh, okay.
on the end wall. Because
Gotcha.
Farmer Friend actually makes an end wall too kit, and then you can just put
Oh,
a door in there.
okay.
So, um, Starlet says I'll have all of my main garden planted by middle of March under milk jugs and plastic. Yep. So, and we even do row cover, which is the fabric inside of our tunnels. Um, like tomorrow afternoon, we're gonna go from the 50s into the 20s for a high on Wednesday and Thursday.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go ahead and put some row cover on that, keep that heat trapped in, just to speed up the process, keep them growing. So otherwise, when they do get cold,
Mm.
it was it'll slow them down. So ACM had asked, "How do I like delivering mail?" Was thinking about doing that. um, I don't mind it. There are quirks to working at the post office, depending on if you're talking about rural delivery. I do rural mail carrying. Um, the post office is in dire need of people. They
Yes.
always are looking for people to work. Um,
It's not a bad gig.
it's not.
It really isn't.
There's just like anything else. People complain a lot about the job itself and stuff, but my big thing is the expense of vehicles. I can work on anything if I have time. And if you have any kind of if you can do breaks, like a quick brake change, not necessarily major stuff, and it's really easy to learn how to do breaks.
Oil changes
That's
and
your biggest thing with the mail service is knowing how to just being able to figure out how to do breaks real quick, or not real quick, but just that kind of stuff. If you have somebody to rely on to help as a backup, that helps too.
yes.
Um, But yeah, they pay well. I mean, your starting wage is going to be as a rural carrier is just shy of $20 an hour. Um, there's opportunity to move around if you want to move around within the post office. They're always looking for management positions if you want to go full time and work a lot of hours,
Yeah, I mean,
and
you
there's good
really
money in
can,
that. So
yeah.
it's not a bad job. It's not. It's just
No.
something that I was doing as a part time job because we were farming a lot, and it was something that we could do, and I wasn't doing a lot of hours, and it's morphed into me working every day,
6
and
days a week.
and I could work 7 days a week if I wanted to. There is that. So if you want work, there is work in the post office.
Yes.
But and I don't mind it. It's a good job. Hypocrite says started onions, peppers, and eggplant 72 trays yesterday. Those on heat mats. Potato seeds come in today. May put onion seeds out as sets out in the community garden Wednesday.
So eggplant this year, I don't know if you've ever tried this. What's it called? Fairy tale
Fairy tale eggplant is what we're doing this year,
is what we're doing this year. We've done Black Beauty in the past. You know,
which
your
is
traditional
Italian.
big, yeah, eggplant.
Yep.
And these little fairy tale ones are only supposed to be like,
They're a little bit bigger, but yeah.
yeah. So like well, I guess the size of a jalapeno, I think is what.
No, 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 no. They're,
Not that small.
I think they're a jumbo jalapeno.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
Yeah.
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 So they're supposed to be really good and not like thick skinned, but yet
They're supposed to be more
not
tender.
rubbery.
Yeah, they're supposed to be more tender, easier. The skin isn't as thick. Um,
Yeah, they're supposed to just be a better.
yeah, people like them. So.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. They're supposed to also produce like cherry tomatoes do, like
Well, I don't know that they do
very
that, but
prolific.
yeah, I mean, eggplant is one of those goofy plants. I mean, it's really it's really susceptible to insect damage,
Yeah, flea
flea beetles
beetles.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those plants that people either a lot of people don't know what eggplant is. I don't think either, but
No, yeah, well,
you
it's
like
because
it,
of
you
it's an
don't like it.
Italian thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so
So we'll let you know, but you'll see it through our growing season and everything. So hacks for the homestead. How are you doing this evening?
hello,
Hello, Potpourri of Life.
hello.
Uh, Darla, talk to you again.
So David started cooking dinner a couple weeks back. So I'm like, I smell food. A couple weeks back, I had just kind of planning for this year and the craziness that's going to be going on with more production for tabletop and the different places that we need to be at certain times. I'm like, okay, I am going to need help, like getting dinner on the table. And something that one of the people that I follow for marketing, she doesn't really just do marketing. She does more of, you know, y- managing your thoughts and your schedule and
And
just
who is
kind of
that?
3 Cow Marketing. It is Charlotte
Smith.
Smith. Thank you.
Yep.
I was thinking that, but I'm like, that doesn't sound quite right. But anyway, something that she was coaching somebody on was, okay, for you to be able to do this successfully, what is it that you need to do? And I started thinking about this through this coaching call, and I'm like, that's probably a good thing to probably number one have the kids do is to each one of them take a night throughout the week that like tonight is David's night. I don't have to stress, Andrew doesn't have to stress about trying to get dinner on the table. We can sit here and have conversation with you guys. He can learn how to process a dinner, and go through that.
Well, and it's not only the
It's
cooking itself. It's you need to
right.
plan it. You need to figure out what you're going to do. Of course,
Yes.
his backup is, well, we'll just go out to eat. No, we're not going out to eat. Or it's, well, we'll just do hamburgers every time.
Well, and tonight is hamburgers. He had a lot of homework, so we're doing hamburgers and salad. But
we haven't had hamburgers for
we
a
haven't.
while, so
So it gives them that opportunity to
or breakfast. he's big on breakfast.
and
So.
which is perfectly fine. And so what I've told him, I don't care if you make the same meal every single week. At least you're gonna get it down and you're gonna figure it out, and then we can move on to other things. But there's some things, usually whenever you're cooking or they're helping you or whatever, you just do and you don't explain, and they don't know to ask questions, those kind of questions, unless they're doing it by themselves. It's the same as anything else that we do in life. If you've never done it before, you don't know what to ask, and so, um,
Thank you, Spags.
and so, anyways, he's in there cooking, and I just thought I'd share that that's something that we do, is to have the kids pick a night, that we have crazy stuff going on, that they can jump in as family members and support.
So
So,
Starla just said, "I'd love to see some of you at the Oklahoma Homesteaders Expo on June 2nd and 3rd. Arms Family Farm, Doug and Stacy, and Mr. Leon will be there." So, Starla, would you let us know where that is in Oklahoma? Um, and that's definitely something we can get to. We've got family in Oklahoma that we try to get to every now and then. We haven't been over there for a couple of years, but we'd definitely be interested in coming over that way. So,
yeah, we like Oklahoma. The kids keep asking, when are we going back?
but
So,
so let us know where they're holding that at, and I'm going to write that down so that can go in the calendar.
I'm gonna jump back up here. Hypocrite said that he had a couple of long Asian eggplants. Is that like
They're a long,
they're
skinnier
a
one.
long
Yeah,
skinny thing?
yeah. And we've never
Are
we've
they?
never
We've
tried
never
them.
tried those. Are they good? Or white eggplant? The white stuff seems really cool to grow, but a lot of people freak out over weird colors.
Well, it sounds like we may be in a market that may not. So
Well, that's true.
we've always enjoyed going back to the heirlooms and
The fun
the
stuff.
fun stuff that we like, because we like diversity, we like color, we like all this stuff. And one of the farms that was there that you were talking to actually
Mhm.
had black radishes.
Oh yeah, they had the watermelon radishes. They had black radishes. They had.
So I'm very much, I love experimenting, just like any other gardener. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just a gardener on steroids, essentially, is all we do. We just
We have a problem.
well, and now but we have to come to the realization at some points that we have to sell what people want.
Yeah.
We just refuse to do the stuff that doesn't have flavor, even though people may want it. We just won't grow that because
Yeah.
if we aren't going to eat it, we're not going to grow it. But
Right.
so
That is true. Oh, and he said there's green Asian. What?
at least it's not meth.
Well,
Oh, because hypocrites. Do you plan on growing and he was asking. So
oh,
Hax was asking about that.
you plan on growing in medicinal and healing plants this year? No.
So Pryor, Oklahoma. No, well, I think Hax was asking hypocrites that.
Oh, okay.
We have grown that as well in the past, as far as on the hemp side, and that is something that we're going to drop this year just because of the fact of time and everything else.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I mean, it's definitely an interesting plant for sure. So Pryor, Oklahoma. I'm gonna write that down before I lose that. So yeah, we'll definitely look that up on the Oklahoma Expo. So
Yeah.
Cambodia eggplant. Starla's got that. Big kid, hey, big kid.
Hello.
So
So,
I try to
what are
be.
you laughing at?
Oh, just bags.
Oh.
You try to be a good hype man. You are a good hype man. So, and we appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Pryor County, Oklahoma. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm sure once we Google it, we'll find
Yeah,
it.
we will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So,
non-hemp was on my
there's
list. The first garden beds I wanted to do on my homestead were going to be medical pollinator herbs, but the whole homestead is on hold. So yeah. So what else you got? Oh, Miss Hacks is here now too. So
hello. The other half passes. That's funny.
what?
No, just the two packages. They both had. Yes, there's four burgers there. Yeah.
Gotcha, Hacks.
That's a
Gotcha.
lot of. That's it. It's like two burgers. Like turn your heat down. Turn it down more.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those things that we'd. There's 3 years in a row we'd played with, and I think last year it was off the charts hot. So, and that was before everything had gone through. So we were definitely, well, it's actually still standing in the field. Um, Morgan County Fairgrounds in Pryor, Oklahoma. So,
Okay, I'll look that up. But it, Missouri went to a
well, they went
legal.
medical,
They went medical,
and
and
now they're
now
recreational,
now are recreational,
which, and I think that just went into effect a couple of days ago, actually. But
which is absolutely hilarious because you go by the
medical facility,
medical facility
and they are. It's like a
that
hangout now.
oh, it's a bad hangout. It is a bad hangout.
But
They had a good sized parking lot that only had like 2 or 3 cars in it whenever you had to have your medical license, and now it's like packed.
yeah,
Like it's
20,
Walmart.
20 plus cars.
Yeah, it's
So,
Walmart.
but
So
anyways,
that's yeah, that's funny. I don't know. They might need more people to start growing then.
well, I can grow it hot. I know that.
Does
There,
it?
Starla gave me an address, so I'll write that down. Thank you, Starla.
You're doing all of this research for him.
Hey, saves me some time. More plants. Anyways,
Anyways, the one thing I was going to mention though on um the whole growing side of things is so we have the germ chamber that we did this year that we got implemented, and it's amazing how much because of moving the germ chamber and all of our hustling around over into the new greenhouse. I didn't I realized but didn't realize after not having it for a week and a half because of the room in the
hmm
greenhouse how much difference that sucker has actually made
well, it's that, and
in
it's yeah,
sprouting seeds.
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna grab something real quick.
So we had um we had taken it out of where we had it. We had it in the pack shed or kitchen, whichever. And we decided to move it out to the greenhouse. Well, it needed to go into the new greenhouse before the end wall got put on because that's just how big it is and how low the new greenhouse is. So it had to go out there first, and it took just a tad bit. Ah, it took just a tad bit to get everything back, in order. So we missed a couple of plantings, like Andrew said, we're about a week behind. But um, the plants that we had to take out of the germ chamber early, the stage that they are in versus everything that actually went through the correct process is drastically different. Like that's how we used to have to grow things is we would seed it, put it in the greenhouse, and maybe 2 weeks later it would sprout. Hopefully it didn't like
Well,
something didn't happen between then.
and on top of that, you had to crank the heat up in the greenhouse all the time to make
Oh
sure that
yeah.
we're staying at least at 70, 72, 75, 80 degrees in the greenhouse. Well,
And everything was so inconsistent.
oh yeah, yeah.
So inconsistent on its germination and all that stuff. And so then the second fun thing is
Well, I found it. Are you talking about this thing?
yeah.
So I found a tool. So what we had done in the past, just so you guys, this is a 200 cell tray, just no different than 72s or anything else, just more. Is we'd take one of these and set another one on top and actually make a divot with your soil, and it would actually pack those down, which makes it really difficult to pull plants out of these things. So we're putting everything besides pepper,
And tomatoes.
tomatoes,
That's it.
in
Everything
the
else is gonna
everything else goes in these. Even our our eggplant and stuff like
Mhm.
that, we're putting in these. The thing with a smaller tray like this though is time. You only got on a lot of things a couple of days to get them out of the tray.
Mhm.
Especially when it gets in summer. Wintertime, you have probably about a week, maybe a little, maybe 10 days
Mhm.
of grace period before they start really kind of stressing because the roots develop really well. Well, one of the things that was taking her more time, and it's an efficiency numbers game a lot of times when we're doing this stuff. When we're doing, with our lettuces, we'll do, what is it, 4 per bed, and we're doing 3 beds at a time right now. So you're literally doing 12 of these every week
Mhm.
on top of the spinach, on top of everything else. So
Yeah.
weekly, there's 12 of these just of lettuce, and that's only of one variety of lettuce. There's another
Yeah.
12 of these, or maybe 8 of these of head lettuce.
Yeah.
Another, so it just keeps going and going. So she was literally having to take them. You fill your soil in them pretty quickly, and then you take another one and set it over the top and push it. Well, I found a tool from one of the guys I went to. Looks like this. Now he makes these. I'm going the wrong way. He makes these in different sizes, and it's made by Soy Pea Acres. It's up in Michigan or Wisconsin. But literally, you set this thing on here, and you just roll right over it. And he makes like these in 50s and stuff like that. They're not
Not
cheap,
cheap.
but for the time it takes us, the other thing that we're noticing is she's burying seeds too deep a lot of times, which again gets
Your
bad germination,
yeah. Your
inconsistent
consistencies.
germination, um, and all this other stuff. So it's a thing of just getting stuff more fine tuned, we'll say, and that's where that is. So hopefully that'll save us some time and all that other stuff. But anyways, that's one of the new tool toys that I got. I bought it so she could use it, but I wanted to buy a new tool. So
Well, in the end, he benefits, right? Because I get consistent germination and seeding, and we're not wasting
yeah,
going
seed and all this other
seed and
yeah
all this kind
time.
of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and
I mean,
it's a pain when you're trying to plant out in the field and you have half a tray.
oh my gosh, that's why it took me so long today. I think.
Yeah, well, and if you have small seeds or they're leggy and all, I mean, all this stuff costs time,
Yeah.
and it's just I don't know.
Yeah. There's
So
some of them that I didn't get out of the germ chamber quick enough, and when I moved stuff yesterday, yesterday was Sunday. When I moved stuff yesterday when we were finishing it up, I'm like, they're just trash. I mean,
yeah, I mean, at some point you just
so
we use what we can, and then you move on and keep going. So
yep, you just cut your losses early and keep going. That's just how it goes. But so Miss Hack says that they have wild hemp growing here.
and we've got wild hemp
We have,
everywhere.
yeah,
Oh,
everywhere.
one of the things I was going to mention was, and I don't remember who it was now that we were talking to last time about the cover crops and the seeds, and I was actually going to get on the Thursday night, which
Oh, it
hypocrites.
was
That's one of the things, and I maybe I missed something. I couldn't
Indiana Mike's
find.
wife, isn't it?
Was it Jeanette that
Mm-hmm.
asking about the seeds?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't figure out um, how do you all highlight names? How many cells is that one is 200 cells. 200 cells on that one. And we used to use 128 a lot, but I really like the 200 cell trays and everything on that. But where I was going with that was clover for a cover crop, not for a cover crop, but a
Micro.
micro.
Yeah.
And so I never had heard of that, and I still don't know what variety of clover it is. So I'm looking into that still, but um, it's actually a really high. It's benefits is in for women in hormonal balances and menstrual cycle easing and all kinds of stuff.
Huh.
So I was like, that's kind of interesting.
That
So
is
I'm going to
interesting.
do more research on that because that's one thing that I thought, well, clover
What are
grows
you
anywhere.
saying?
Well, oh, no, just clover. It's just one of those that I just didn't know. It's like that's kind of interesting. So, but
That is interesting,
uh, oh, the other thing I was going to say was hypocrites. I couldn't find, and maybe you guys didn't do one on Thursday. I couldn't find the one on Zoom
Yeah, the
for
link
Thursday. I
for
was
the test.
late, but I was, and maybe you'd been off already. So I was going to try to jump on there, and I could not find it. So
Is
it's
it the same link and room every week, or is there a new link?
just don't use an actual highlighter on the screen. That's a good idea. Or permanent marker. uh, says I'm a Spag says I'm a middle aged white straight male from the Midwest. Learning technology is hard for me completely. This is from a guy that used to do quite a bit of computer work, but tell you what, if you don't use it, you lose it. Um, I used to do some radio programming, and I couldn't.
It changes so
Oh, it
fast.
does.
I mean, if that's not what you do every day.
I don't know. I was very good at it, anyways, but did a lot of it. But
Yeah,
well, I can't keep up with the comments. How come they didn't keep scrolling?
it's okay.
So only see the highlight is on yours. Yep. So like in the stream, Zoom happened different link every week, and I remove once the room ends. Okay. Well,
That would be why.
yeah, and that's fine.
Because I
I
think
just
it was like 9 o'clock. You were trying to get in there. It was pretty late, but
yep, it was.
because I was like, "You think they're still there?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, they're always there till like midnight." Like, okay.
Well, we were. I forget what we were doing. We were doing something, and we didn't get back in till late. And I was like, "Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try." So
Yeah.
if it didn't have a trigger, it's no good to me. Yeah. Trying to be being a lady, we didn't get computers until I was senior year of high school. Yeah. Oh, I can remember.
Well, typing class for me, was high school.
They were
Mm,
clunky, even at that.
it was very clunky. I'm trying to think if it was sophomore or junior
I mean,
year.
computers have been around, but I never saw a computer growing up. We didn't have something like that. So
Well, they had, what was it? What's the trail?
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
Oh yeah,
We had that when we were younger than that, but and during your typing class, you had the game where bugs would hit the windshield with
Good
the
night,
letters.
Spags. By the way, he's got end of day
Good night.
chores, so
Oh, I still got those too, but they're not chores. But I want to get the fertilizer needs to be picked up before the rain comes in, so I need to look at that timing.
yes. Well, we can pull those in tonight into the greenhouse.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring
So
that.
yeah,
So, but and
he
they
says, and
way.
also he says if you can't be good at it. So
Try.
yeah, they're talking about smelting and aluminum and all this other stuff in there. That's something that I've never gotten into very much, and that's always kind of an interested me. But so
Smelting.
yeah, metal essentially making liquid metal.
Oh,
So
I soldered.
I've done lead
Yes,
for
you
lead
guys.
weights and stuff.
Yeah, you
But
guys used to make fish weights.
Hypocrite says my first computer class was in high school. I went to a local Baptist college for a basic class on TRS 80s with 8-inch floppy drives. Oh, the old floppy drive.
Packrat, did you have typing growing up? You look younger than me. I thought y'all had keyboarding, and deadpan, and had typing on the typewriter. I We had typewriters. Well, at least I did. I had a typewriter. Mom had a typewriter. She was a secretary. So we had the actual like typewriter, and that thing was so frustrating because you get halfway through a paragraph, and then you'd hit two buttons at the same time, and you'd misspell your word, and so then you had to do the whole thing all over again. It was very frustrating. And although we had a manual typewriter and we had an electric typewriter.
Yeah. No, I didn't have any of that stuff, but that's for a whole different reason.
Yes. I'm not even sure where she got hers. I guess it's because she did secretary stuff. I'm not sure, but yeah.
No, and Packer, I'm not sure exactly how old you are. We had computers when I was growing up. I mean, we're not that.
My grandpa had the first computer of our family.
Did he?
Yeah. But he did
I
genealogy stuff, so
Yeah.
that was more.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So
He had
Tag and B are here. So
hello. He had the what's it called? Where it had the film and
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the word off the top of my
and it
head.
would show up on the screen, but you had to have a light underneath the film.
Wooden projector.
No, it was before that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But anyways, somebody will tell you. But yeah, no, we had typing, but I didn't have typing until we got into high school. And well, I say that we probably had middle school typing, but not as grade school. I did go over to a buddy's house when they had internet. So when it first came out, but that's how I got exposed to it. So
Yeah.
but no, big kid, you're fine. Took talking about the smelting and stuff, but
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We go all over the place. We can squirrel.
Packrat says, since you
Squirrel
asked,
belt.
I was alive before Studebaker got out of the car business. You're talking about a microfilm machine. Yes.
Yes,
You
that's
didn't
it.
have you didn't have KO, rec type, and liquid paper. No. Not that I know of.
Liquid paper was the whiteout, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. No.
Wasn't the liquid?
Microfiche. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah. Like he.
Yeah, they were still using that in the Air Force back in the late 80s overseas.
Oh. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, like he had all of the stuff before we did, but
Yeah.
which is hilarious that your grandparents had the stuff before you did because you should be teaching them, and they actually taught us, or he did. But I guess that's because of all the genealogy that he was doing. But
Yep.
yeah. So that's pretty cool. But no.
Trying to think of anything else that she did this week. So we didn't get over there, which yeah, I don't know. I've lost my train of thought completely. I don't know what I was thinking about, but you don't have to stare at me.
I was waiting for you to
I don't know.
clear your head.
Well, that's never going to happen. But
Since you asked how it is alive. Okay, wait a minute.
It says microfiche was the thing where you had one little sheet that you would X, Y, up and down on the microfilm machine was like the spool. And it only went left and right on page at a time.
Yes.
So.
A lot of grandparents had that medicinal plant long before.
Oh yeah, sitting there on that sack of seeds. But
that's funny. No, we had when we first started that exploration into
the medical side.
of things, with all of it, that the ditch weed part of it that grows around here. We did do some testing on it to see if what it actually was. If it did have any medicinal purposes to it. If it'd be good genetics for fiber, because I mean it's local to the area, it already grows, and all that kind of thing. And it definitely definitely had no.
It's dishweed.
It's definitely ditchweed. There's
But
nothing to it.
that was always the challenge for us is we can't grow very well outside for anything because of the pollination. And so that's why
Correct.
a lot of it just doesn't make any sense for us to even mess around with the hemp side or any of the other stuff because it'll produce seeds, which just screws up the CBD and screws up everything. So that's why we've
Yeah.
kind of given up on it at this point. So
And we tried both autos and photos.
yeah.
And the photos definitely had a harder time than what the autos did. But, you know.
And so yeah, tag. That's what I was gonna say. We were heading over to your place area and bringing a wonderful big salad and everything, and realized what time it was and that we had screwed up times, and we were going to be there about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and we said, "No, I don't think anybody's going to want salad after about 2 hours." So
No, and everybody's probably done talking. And
yeah, so we turned around and came back and worked on the greenhouse. So we were heading your way, and we just didn't make it that way. So
that was a bummer. I was like, dang. It was, we had a good time last time just visiting with everybody and getting to know people and all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. But it just happened the way it did. So we'll have to catch you guys next time. Definitely.
Well, we're gonna start talking about organizing something over here, one over here for this
Yes.
community as well. So
Yeah. Need to figure out a.
B says it's always tabletop salad time.
Oh, it was so good too. So it had our Salanova lettuce in it, and then we've got all the microgreens going right now. So it had pea microgreens in it. It had sunflowers. It had a little bit of dill and some radish, and it. I had it for lunch today. It was very very tasty, and
I'm
I'm
gonna have some on a hamburger tonight, I think.
so sorry I couldn't share it with you because it was really good. It was so beautiful. It was so good.
We'll have it next time.
We will have it next time. And next time it'll have spinach in it too. We'll just add some spinach to
There
it.
you go.
And it'll be even better than it was yesterday. Then yeah.
Yeah.
So but
Hypocrite says at the moment there's a federal court decision that says infringing on Second Amendment due to hemp is unconstitutional. Doesn't use, but never thought it was right. I would agree. I think if somebody's going to do whatever they want to do in their own home, then they should do what they're going to do, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. They should do the same for alcohol then. I mean really. But
Big Kid says, "Where are you guys? South Central Virginia here. We are in Northwest Missouri. North Central West Missouri is what I'd classify it as. So, Tag says, you guys always have a great product. We eat it all shortly. Thank you. So
thank you.
we have just as much fun producing it for other people as we do eating it.
Yeah.
So that's where my joy comes out is seeing other people enjoy what we do. So I guess
Yeah.
why we do what we do. But South Central Virginia, you guys are going to get, I think, some of this snow coming up your way here, possibly. Maybe if you're in higher, near a town in Mo that didn't really know how to produce. That's where you are at Pack Rat, is near a town in Missouri that I don't really know how to pronounce, probably. Oh, Chillicothe. I bet that's what he's talking about.
Probably.
Chillicothe. Yeah,
Yep.
we live in between a small town, Chillicothe, 10,000, 12,000 people in that town, and then to our north is Trenton, Missouri, which is a small town, 8,000 people, and then we have Jamesport, which is only actually 8 miles from us, which is an Amish community that has, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people in it.
Yeah, it's pretty small. But so like we're out in the middle of nowhere, really.
Yeah,
I mean
yeah. We're 14 miles from either town.
Yeah.
And then 8 miles from that one. So yeah.
Yeah. anybody comes to see us, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you are so far out here." And we're like, "Yeah, it's great.
So
It's
Big
very
Kid says
nice."
they're 30 miles north of the North Carolina state line. Yeah.
Okay.
Pronounced no. I'm in west of Nashville. Isn't that a town in Ohio as well?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, anytime that I have to do some Googling, I definitely have to put Missouri behind it because Ohio usually comes up.
Hypocrite says our towns are easy to pronounce: Possum, Grape, Goobertown,
Yeah.
Oil
Goober
Trough. Yeah. Well, Missouri has this weird infatuation of naming their towns after different cities or
And
different states
countries
and
and
countries.
states.
Yeah. Mexico. Yeah.
I think we have
Paris
yeah,
and
I think we have almost every state within the state
probably so.
as a town or a city.
And maybe
It's
that's
weird.
maybe that's all the way around. Maybe every state does that. I just don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
Well, so
our
it's on the
our town is 5 miles, one stoplight, one grocery store, 2,000 people. That's home of Tightwad. That's Tightwad, Missouri. That's right. So I grew up in a town with 2,000 people, one stoplight, and it still only has one stoplight to this day. And we upgraded to a stoplight when I believe I was in middle school. I think is when they upgraded from a four-way stop to a stoplight. So,
and now there's only like 4,000 in that.
oh yeah, it's still not very.
It's still a little town. It's a nice town. It really is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody.
Well, and I actually where I actually grew up was they had a school, um, but it had a my graduating class in that school would have been like six, but my mother did not want us going to that school. We needed to be in a more populated area, I guess. So we moved into that town of California, Missouri. So there again, another state. But and Starla asked, "Do we do a live every week?" Yes, Starla, we do every Monday, 7 o'clock. We are here. So my hometown had less than 200. Dad was a mayor for a long time. He was the fifth caller. That's right. At least it does have the coolest hat. That thing was sopping wet yesterday because I was wearing it.
No, I washed it. This is the washed one.
Oh, well,
Yours is not. Yours is in there.
yeah, mine was sopping wet yesterday because I was wearing it in the tunnel or the high tunnel and the greenhouse and everything, and it got hot.
It did get hot.
We were heading out your way, and Ella was like, "Don't you want to wear the free man hat for out at tags?" And I was like, "Well, I would, but it's sopping wet." And she, yeah, so. Packrat says, "Life done for you. You'd look good in one of those."
Ella stole my sweatshirt, so she has the free woman sweatshirt.
Well, if she's not wearing that sweatshirt, she's wearing the freestanding sweatshirt.
That is true.
So.
So yeah, it probably needs to be washed. I know. I just found that you had it hanging up there. So, but we probably need to get another one or two of those.
Oh yeah,
Probably need another one or two.
Yeah.
But
so when you get more available tags, we'll buy some more.
Yes.
So we will send more. Well, yeah. But,
sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, what do you got going on this week? Now that you're going to be a free woman on vacation every day.
I'm on vacation every day. I've got a lot of planting that I need to get caught up with, and then I don't know. Actually, no, I've got a lot of loose ends that I need to not loose ends, but just exiting my current position. You know, there's always those things that you need to tie up before you exit out of places. So I've got quite a bit of that I need to do yet, but I will be home quite a bit. One big thing is,
and I don't know if Tag was in here. I don't think he was in here. And just so you got Tag knows or anybody else that came in, Lisa's actually put her 2 weeks in a week ago. So this is actually her last week at her off the farm job. And so she'll be here full time.
yes,
Holding down the fort.
holding down the fort.
But
and one of the biggest changes in our household, as well this week, besides Valentine's being tomorrow, so all y'all grab a Snickers, throw it at your partner. Anyways, the second thing is we are going to have a new driver in our household. Ella's birthday is this week on Wednesday, so that is a big thing in our house this week. Is
Freedom. She goes, hey. So now she's already complaining about having to pack her brother around. So, but
he can wait.
B wants to know, when you harvest dill from microgreens, do they grow back?
I've never tried.
I think dill does, but we have not messed around with that. The peas will, for sure.
Yeah, and they're really not worth.
Well, for somebody that's just going to redo them,
Yeah,
they are. That they're worth it doing that.
That's true.
Somebody said happy birthday, Ella. Some stranger.
You know, the stranger you might.
That vacation every day makes for some hard work. I know from experience, Big Kid says. So, yep.
Yes, it will. But you know what? It's a different kind of hard work.
Yeah. Well, and you enjoy the gardening and all that stuff, so it's right there. But
yeah, I've always had my hands in the mud.
Tag says, "Congrats, Lisa, on your permanent vacation." So, life done free. Like B's permanent vacation, no doubt. Yeah.
But as far as the dill goes, do you think it actually will grow back because you're not getting to where you're cutting the cotyledons? Where the peas are already up and they actually are shoots.
Yeah.
Versus the
seedling. I don't know. I'll have to look at that. So the correct answer is, I don't know. We'll look at that. And we've got one tray that we'll leave back and see. We'll cut them and see if they come back, if they are, and if it's worth it, because that's the other thing is
dill takes forever to grow.
It does.
I mean, it's like a 3-week out process before you even harvest them.
They make, for somebody like that is a personal use, is to get a 3x6 tray and do that
like a to-go tray,
like a
to-go.
There you go.
Like a
Tupperware tray.
Yeah,
and
like
do
a
that
leftover
and
tray.
do that with it would be the way to do those weekly. And it wouldn't take anything to do that. So
yeah,
and that way you just cut it, have that for the week, and then cut it again, and just keep doing that. Yeah.
Interesting.
It says our county is a little over 600 square miles, but most concentrated up by the interstate. It thins out further you get from there, of course. Yeah. You put Life Done Free says, if you put purple top turnips all over your property, how many years will they reseed themselves? Oh, for a while, but they don't reseed very well.
No,
they keep getting
bigger.
Well, they keep sparsing out. We've not had very much reseeding on any of our.
But we've also had cattle that have gotten through too.
Well, that's true.
I mean, we've had things come through and eat.
I was told 3. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. It'd be about like clover. We're having to reseed. Clover gets about 5 years, 5 to 7 years. But if you let them go to seed, then I could see 3 years probably. It's just going to thin out more and more and more. Other 3 years before it's not worth. Before you have to reseed it all over again. So
yeah.
My cabbage and radish have come back. Yeah.
Okay.
Cabbage will definitely come back. Radishes, yeah. Radishes are pretty hardy too.
Even if you cut all the leaves off?
Oh,
He's talking about micros.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I can see where, I can see where radishes will come back.
Radishes, yeah. I mean, those suckers.
And cabbage, definitely.
I don't know if we've ever grown cabbage micros, though.
Well, like the
Tokyo Bacana.
Tokyo Bacana will. But again, it's one of those things. It's always one for a personal use. You can get that regrowth and cut it. You don't care about the cut edge, and it doesn't look pretty.
Well, that's true.
And it's no different than the reason we have to when we go through and cut lettuce. Lots of times we don't get a second cutting or spinach. We don't cut spinach
Yeah.
in the wintertime at all. We actually hand pick it because it looks horrible the second
Yeah.
time you cut it,
Yeah,
and
because the
people don't
edges
want to
bruise
buy
and all
that
that
because
kind
it
of
just
stuff.
doesn't look
Yeah.
like it. So
Yeah.
that's why, and in the wintertime there's a lot more time. So like in our spinach, we can get 3, 4, maybe sometimes 5
Pickings off of.
pickings through a spinach bed
Yeah.
in the wintertime because it's clean, it's cut, it's not cut, and you're picking them right off the stem. So that's why we do that. But
Yeah, last spring, I think I.
eternity's here, so and
Oh no,
it's so
last spring I was able to get 5 harvests off of what we had.
and that was late. I mean, you went late into that.
I did, and it
So,
was really good.
but the
And
colder it is, the better the spinach gets. So that's why I mean I love fall spinach,
it tastes
matured in
like
fall,
sugar.
because then it gets better and better and better as it goes through the thing.
Yeah,
So
tastes like
yeah.
sugar.
We're gonna try a new spring spinach this year. I saw it. It's summer spinach, is what I should say. It's not really a spinach. It looks identical to spinach, and they claim it tastes like spinach. David's got it smoky in here, so you got it smoky in here. I'm choking over here.
You can open a window.
But it's called Carlton, and it's actually an Asian green, is what it is. But we're gonna see. So, but it grows all through the summer, even. But what?
Yeah, stalker.
Looking through the window.
See if we can get the window open. uh, well, we'll get it drafty in here.
Yeah.
It'll,
So
it'll at least start sucking
we
out.
found a used incubator can do 20 eggs. We are stoked. Absolutely, that'd be
Sweet.
yeah. That's something we've not played around with incubating eggs yet. We've talked about it. But that's the other thing is Saturday.
Oh
You're
well,
you're
that is
taking a
true.
trip. I ran across a guy I think last weekend
Mhm.
on Facebook, I believe, and he had laying hens for depending on
Pullets.
pullets. They're 12-month-old birds.
Yeah.
So it means they just started laying eggs. And he was if you bought a certain amount, we could pick them up for $8 a piece,
Yeah.
and they're laying eggs right now. So I jumped all over that and said we'll pick up 75 of them. So you're gonna go pick up 75 birds, I guess.
Yeah. We had done quite a bit of um, research and math on, uh, you know, well, incubating probably might be a little different, although that's pretty time consuming.
What, incubate an egg?
Yeah, because we used to do it as kids.
Oh,
It's a lot of management. There's really not a lot of time in there, but there is some
I think
management
it
in there.
depends on what kind of incubator you get too.
Well, that could
They have
be
self
because
flipping ones now, I think, don't they?
yeah, they do have self
So
rotating ones, but
rotating. There you
yeah, but we just had the regular like cooling rack, the just a tray underneath a styrofoam. It was a styrofoam box with a view window up top and a light in there. It was just a cheap old thing that we had duck eggs in, and it was just management. But we've done a lot of number running on, getting day old chicks, and then your brooder usage and your time, getting those things all the way to whenever they're laying. And it just really didn't pan out number wise to put all that time and effort into day old chicks when even all the way up to a $15 pullet, you still come ahead going out and buying a chicken that's getting ready to lay.
Well, and again, it depends on your it depends on your contact
True.
of
I
of a
guess
lot of
true.
things. I
Yeah.
mean, we're looking at 1 year So
flipping.
taking a 12-month-old bird and keeping it for a year and moving on to the next one because the production starts going down.
Mhm.
But with what we're doing, we need the highest production, which is I count on having 90%, no, 85% production. I believe is my number is what it
Yeah.
was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's that's definitely different. And for what they're talking about, they're going to do it for a 10 to 13-year-old for managing it. That is absolutely an awesome way to start a business
Yeah. Yeah.
and learn from scratch and
Yeah.
do the numbers.
Yeah. Well, in talking about on the homestead side, so I guess that's technically the business side of things. But homesteading wise, that definitely would be the way to do it. Number one, we don't have a rooster; ours have died, so we need a rooster back
We
on it. But
always used to keep roosters with our stuff.
yeah, we did.
And we'll probably will go back to that. But
Yes. Homesteading wise, we probably would if we didn't have to worry about chickens anywhere else. And having that production, we probably would go ahead and incubate ours so that we had chicks, basically constantly that were replacing ones that either died, whatever, um, would be a good way to do that. But then also, you think about all the stupid chicken stuff that's going around,
oh, it's good to
and
have. Absolutely.
it would definitely be good to have. You know, they're they're looking on legislation to,
There's been rumors of it.
there's been rumors of, knocking down where you can only have interstate commerce between chickens.
Interstate, not
Interstate.
intrust. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Stopping the
intranet is your little
yeah.
in-house. And so that's where I got
Yeah.
that. But yeah, where you only have interstate travel of birds,
Yeah.
which
Yeah. So
Missouri is we've got two. I know of one hatchery, but I'm pretty sure we've got two
oh yeah, we've
hatcheries.
got two.
We've got quite a
We've,
few hatcheries
I mean, we've
actually
got a lot of
out
small
there.
ones. And again, I think that's a huge business opportunity to be able to even do that is start a local hatchery.
Yeah.
Um, if I was going to go back and do it, and I've talked about doing it, is going back to, and I'm going to completely blank out on the name of the bird, but it was a white, it wasn't a leghorn, but it was a cross leghorn, but it was a natural breed that was actually a dual purpose, and it laid a, it was like 300 eggs a year, but it was a
Uh-huh.
big bird too. But they're almost, they're a rare bird.
Oh,
We'll just
okay.
say. So, but they would actually compete close to, maybe that wasn't the same one. There was one bird I was looking at that was actually a very rare bird that would compete with the Cornish cross bird that you could hatch.
Yes, it was a heritage breed, wasn't it?
And it was a very rare heritage breed, but yes. So the other thing I wanted to, and Tag had said they do 90% success rate
Wow.
with the incubator, 30 to 40% natural. I would, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I have several roosters
We
you
have too
can
many
have.
cats. We can't have baby chicks just naturally running around.
Yeah, and yeah, we have too many. Well,
They have to be protected.
that's that's lessened quite a bit since we've got the new dogs, but yes. So, anybody thinking about tapping the trees for syrup in the spring when the sap rises, understanding you can tap walnuts, which you can, just like maples, you can do that with walnuts. The syrup is a bit more expensive from them.
I would love to do that. That is something I have always wanted to do. We just don't have.
If we had the time, it's definitely one of those avenues that we wanted to do and we've looked
Mhm.
at. We've got sugar maple, we've got walnuts, and that is definitely something we've talked about. It's just a matter of, for us at the time. It's always, again, we live the homesteading lifestyle as much as we possibly can, but it seems like the business of farming overtakes the priority a lot. So we
Well,
end
yeah.
up eating a lot of greens and well, a lot of beef too. I mean, and chicken and stuff like that. So whatever we're growing, but we can't we don't forage near as much as what we used to.
Well, that's true. We don't because we
Yeah.
do like to go out and pick the berries when they're growing and the plums and
Yeah.
I mean our farm actually is a huge
It's a huge resource and we want to make
it's
it
a
bigger
huge resource that
with education, but that's a whole, that's where I'm getting lost on the whole permaculture thing. Is I want the permaculture thing, but I don't have time to do the permaculture thing
But
because
it's
I'm
amazing though how much this farm actually, it, natural resource here.
oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean
I
we
don't
do.
know if your grandpa, planted some of this stuff or if it was just
No,
wild on the
no,
property.
it's a lot of it's just wild, but so Packrat said I've been looking at coop plans online. What all different channels have in place for a modest number of birds? Got to get that in place before I suddenly have a box of chicks in the living room. Yes,
Coop plans, that. So I don't know how many you're actually getting. Um, Originally, when we started off with chickens, we had 25 or 30 chickens.
I don't remember.
I mean, it was a small number, and we built a coop, and that was great. But and unless you want to halfway contain them, they really cause havoc on shops and getting into buildings and knocking things off and just being troublesome. Um, I we've I've really enjoyed having their coop on wheels. So whether you decide to keep them in one place or not, that might be something that you keep in mind or want to add to onto your coop is to put them on wheels so that you can move them into different areas if you need to. Um,
The
and
Siskovich tractor
mhm,
is a good for a smaller one. You have the Joe Salatin, which you can still do with leg layers.
mhm,
There's and we've built versions off the Salatin tractor to actually give it a roof and put bicycle wheels on it for our broilers and different stuff. So and we need to do a video on how we've done that um, down the road because I and
yeah,
there again I've got to build another one. In fact, I've got to build a couple of them. So um, did you have anything else on that one?
no,
No.
just maybe think about putting wheels on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the wheels that we put in with the bicycle wheels on that one. We put in it, and you can make it to where the wheels lift up actually, to
Yeah,
where
you
it goes
can.
solid to the ground too.
You can.
But an 8-year-old kid can move our tractors now
Yes.
easily. But
Yeah.
um, Eternity asked if how someone could find out about the laws of a small vegetable stand in your own yard, and I would agree with what everybody had said on there. There's different cottage food laws, which most of them don't have. I mean, one in your front yard, you're going to be way under the cottage food laws. It's going to be more of your county office or township, or if you live in, and what their rules as far as that goes. As far as anything else, as far as the handling of food, there is the FISFA Act, which is in stance, which is the Federal Food Safety um, Act, and it's really just as long as if you're going to wash product, you need to have it sanitized and it just needs to be clean. I mean, there's not
Yeah.
they're not picky, and as long as you're staying under, it's like $25,000 you have to make before. Otherwise, you're exempt. But being exempt doesn't mean you don't have to follow the rules. It just means you're not going to get inspected necessarily heavily. We'll just say
Mhm.
so. I would definitely check with your local, and if they don't have any restrictions on setting up a stand like that, then I think you're easily go for it.
So Miss Hack says, are those the um, American
Breeze,
breeze?
that's very possible that's what those were. Again, it's one of those things I'm very interested in for sustainability. I say sustainability for resiliency, for self
Mhm.
reliance, and there again for future use. Because if it's a bird that can breed, the Cornish cross again, one of those things. I don't have a problem with the Cornish cross,
No.
but I can't reproduce the Cornish cross because the Cornish cross that most people get,
It's a
there's
leghorn and
well, there is, but there's different bloodlines
yeah,
of the
yes.
Cornish cross,
Yes, there is.
and some are better than the others.
Yes.
The breed that we've always gone with, and we get it from we've been getting them from Georgia is where we've
Mhm.
been getting ours, and we can get them a lot closer. But this is a small family operation that actually her husband had just passed away not too long ago,
Yeah, last year.
last year, and we had bought from them for several years, and they are we've never those birds act like heritage birds. And so we've always liked them, but again, it's one of those things I can't reproduce that because of the bloodline that's in there and all this other stuff. So I'd rather have a purebred bird that I can reproduce and mate. So that's
Mhm.
kind of my interest in the whole thing as well. So Alabama, rural county, not city. So yeah, I would call your county courthouse and up there and with that
Or not.
or not. It as bad as it is to say, lots of times it's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. And until they tell you to stop, it's one of those things. It what we have found so hard. We started off and we wanted to follow the rule by the book.
And we
So
do.
and we do, but it comes to the point where we would ask questions. Well, I don't know. Well, you need to talk to the state. Well, the state would be, well, you need to talk to them. And it comes out nobody that really knows what they're talking about. And so we just
You do
finally
what you think is right. You
well,
look
and
at it and
yeah, and that's what we've kind of our default to is now is if we can't find the answers readily available by maybe a phone call or two, we do what we think is right, what we would do for ourselves, and we just go with that until they say no, you can't do that, and then we
well
ask,
then
well,
tell me, give
tell
me
me how.
guidance. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
seems to be there's a continuous spectrum between stationary coops and chicken tractors. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And if you there's quite a few people on the chicken side of things that fence in their chickens. Chickens can do a lot of little damage with their feet and can compact dirt, and it's hard to grow grass or anything to keep them out of mud if you get too many in there. And so just having that option of wheels so that you can move your areas and maybe take them to the compost pile and let them scratch things up or fertilize part of your yard. Take them through once a year to do your own fertilizing, or through a garden that in the winter that you need to do some fertilization on. It just gives you that extra option instead of keeping them stationary.
Yeah.
You don't have to use it, but at least you built it. It's ready to go if you need it.
No. And Life Done Free had said practice peaceful civil disobedience. Yep. And then hypocrites on the chicken coops had said, how level is your land? What style of coop? It's good to ensure
That's
that the
true.
footprint of the mobile coop is flush to the ground, gaps allow predators in, just a thought.
Yeah.
And that's true. What we have found, and this is what I recommend, if you have the availability to put them in the more open of an area, the better it is.
Yes.
The only time we've ever had predator issues, and we've got a lot of predators. I mean, that's not the problem.
Yes.
Is not that we don't have any, but the only time we've ever had predator issues is when we are close to a tree line. When they've been out in the middle of the fields and doing that kind of stuff,
Well,
except for dogs, would be the exception.
and we had a fox issue when we had the pastures were like 3 foot tall.
Yes, yeah,
We
and
had a
so
fox
so
that
a
would jump in.
short grass
Yeah.
because and there again, chickens don't like tall grass.
No, they don't.
They much prefer where they can see and
Yes.
stuff like that. But when they're out in the middle of the field, we had very, very few issues.
That is correct.
So,
Yeah. That is correct.
yes, a possum will chew through chicken wire. They're little suckers too.
And possums are
We
stupid.
use a lot of
Our
hardware
possums
cloth
don't.
on most of
Good.
ours on the bottom. If they're in a coop and enclosed, we use hardware cloth. Otherwise, we just use electric fencing.
Mhm.
It's fairly inexpensive
Mhm.
to get, and it will.
It
I've
lasts for a
turned
long
two or three
time.
people on to. They've lost several flocks, and I said, put them behind electric fence. Doesn't matter what your coop is, and all that, and they have never lost another chicken since then. So,
Yeah.
um, if you have electric fencing, the only thing I do say is put something in there with the coop as far as having a coop in there, because that it keeps aerial predators. They want an open area because they have to come down and get something and they need to come out. Well, if you keep that coop, if the coop is as big as the netting is close to it, it's the perspective they can't get down in there, not near as
Yeah.
easily. So,
Yeah.
but we let ours roam. Have about 19 hens, one rooster, good egg producers,
Mhm.
white leghorn, silver phoenix, and Wyandottes. Yep,
Yep.
yep. And roosters really help if they are free ranging to protection.
Yes.
So
It is amazing how much a rooster actually does, keep eye out on the sky, and they can do one little squawk of some weird noise and all those girls just start running underneath the coop. It's actually pretty funny. But there's a reason that they're there.
yep, guardians.
Guardians, they're a protector. Yep. Yep.
But so you have all this other stuff you gonna get it done. Is there anything else specific that this week get done? Just
No,
tying up
just
loose ends and moving on to the next, right?
yep. And just getting organized, a different organized, We try to get all of this done between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m., if not midnight. And now it's just bringing it into the AM, PM hours instead of the PM hours. So,
Yeah. Well,
um,
more
it's going
hopefully
to be a
more
time
so.
shift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But
it'd be good.
well, I've got work in the greenhouse to do. Sounds like dinner may be done if I don't get choked out of here. But I don't know. I don't know if it's that seasoning or what you put on there, but got me some.
Okay.
But I think we'll jump off of here. Um,
It's been great chatting with you guys.
oh,
We enjoy it. We
we
really
always
do.
look forward to there again. We look forward to Friday nights and Tag and Bees thing.
Yeah.
We enjoy absolutely look forward to Monday nights. Um, we've got to get more videos out, and that's something we've been lacking on. But again, it's been just so crazy busy that the season is. We never. It doesn't seem like we have a slow season, but we have a slower season, and then
Mhm.
it just rockets out and does all that stuff. So, um, but yeah, we'll be here next Monday, like every Monday. Tomorrow night you have Grumpy Acres
Mhm.
live. Friday night Tag and B. Thursday night we have on Freesteading. Hypocrites does the
Zoom
Zoom
call.
call. So, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some. If I am, I apologize. So go over to Freesteading and check that out. And we will see you all next week or later in the week. So until next time,
Pull up a chair.
and welcome to Tabletop Farms. Good night, all.
Good night.